What is up, everyone, and welcome to the next episode of the Nerfs and Buffs series. In today's video, we're going to be talking all about Simon and Richter and the buffs that they received in the latest 9.0 patch. Before we start today's video, I ask that you please subscribe down below. It doesn't take much time, it's really easy, and you can always unsubscribe if you want. If you haven't watched the other episode of the Nerfs and Buffs series, which covered Ness, yesterday's video, I'll link that in the description down below. So let's get started. So the first thing that you can see that's an obvious buff is that they pretty much debuffed this for a lot of characters that had problems with it, but his jab attack now connects fully. If you jabbed for a long time, if you just held it like this on an opponent, sometimes they would be able to fall out of it if they held shield or if they air dodged out, and you would end up getting punished. They also made this jab move so that it doesn't get completely, this was basically an unusable move. Like, it does a little bit of damage and has some knockback, but before the patch, you basically couldn't use this move at all. Now it doesn't get neutralized by other attacks as much. As you can see, it actually does have some knockback. If you didn't know about this, this is just when he's holding A, you can kind of fling out his whip. It's not like super viable. I don't think it has any viability actually. It is supposed to reflect projectiles, like small projectiles. I don't think it does big projectiles at all. But yeah, they buffed his jab and a little bit earlier now. So obviously jab isn't his kill move. But if you're around 150% and higher on most characters, probably not heavies, but midweight characters, jab should be killing around then. So if you get a jab, definitely, if you have the opportunity to jab, obviously forward throw is probably a better option because forward throw is a kill move. But if you ever get in a situation where you press jab on the ledge and they're at 150+%, you're probably going to get a kill off of it now. So next, that thing that they buffed was Simon's dash attack, and they buffed its launch distance and power, which means that this move is going to be killing a lot earlier than it used to. And I think most of these buffs are about extending the launch distance of most of these moves that in theory should have been killing at percents, where like before this patch there would be times where your opponent, where the pit would be at, let's say 130% or 150% and higher, and dash attack would not be killing. So now when we place him, let's say at 140%, dash attack will definitely almost kill. So dash attack, it also sends in a more horizontal angle, so it used to send straight up, and you can see that they didn't completely fix it. You still fall off out of it at ledge, but if you hit them on center stage, it does send out farther out to the horizontal blast zones than it did before. This isn't one of his more significant buffs because dash attack is just kind of like a burst option that you won't use much in a match. It's very situational. So the next thing that they buffed was his up tilt attack, and they extended the launch distance when your opponent is at a low amount of damage, which means if your opponent is, say, really low and you're getting them in like a juggle situation, you can do up tilt, up to air, stuff like that, and you're juggling them with up tilt. It will do slightly more damage than it did in the patch before. So this isn't a super big buff, but it will help Simon accumulate more damage and get to the percent where he can actually get some kills. The biggest buff of all, I think, for this patch is that they buffed his up special. They increased the actual range of it, which means you're gonna go higher. And before, obviously, Simon's recovery is, the BELMONTS recovery is one of the things that's one of the counterplays against him, right? If I'm playing against the pit, then he's gonna try to use his arrows and his nairs and his down airs to get me off the stage as early as possible. So, because Richter does not have a great recovery, if you're not using this, if you go too low, then there were times before this patch where they would die like really, really easily because the up B didn't go very far. But in this newest patch, they buffed the up B, so now it goes slightly further. In the patch before that, I would not have made that back. It can also it just goes vertically up a lot more, which means this is going to help out Simon's overall survivability and being able to survive gimps off stage, because up B was very, very rarely used. You always wanted to basically go for whip because it has a longer range and you get intangibility when you're swinging, but now you should have the option to use up B as well. The other thing that you can use up B for is catching jumps. I like to do this a lot, especially when you get somebody off stage, or if they like to jump high. If you've been, obviously with Simon, you're going to be ledge guarding people a lot, So if they know that you've been throwing items at the ledge and then they decide to go high, you can just up B them. And since it has a longer range, you have a more higher probability of them actually getting hit. So the next buff they buffed was his up smash. They extended the launch distance and increased the speed. So up smash is a little bit faster. This isn't a move that you'd be using often, but there are some kill setups that you can do with up smash, especially when you probably see this when people break shields. But you can do boom, especially at higher percents. You can do all sorts of things. Up smash isn't one of the most common moves, I'll say that, but it does serve its purposes when you want to combo stuff like that. That's a pretty good finisher, especially if you catch them by surprise. You don't even have to charge it. You just catch them by surprise and then boom, you get them with the up smash. Then you get them in a juggle situation, and yeah. So it's obviously not a significant buff, but it does help out. The last buff was his down smash attack, and this I would say is a pretty good buff for Simon, because if you've ever seen Simon ledge trapping, down smash is one of the tools that you use. It catches neutral get up, so when you throw out the holy fire, if they get caught in it, sometimes obviously the best option is to go for forward smash, right? But you'll see a lot of times they'll go for forward tilt, or they'll go for dash attack, or they'll go for down air. But if you want to cover roll in as well, if you're gonna miss your forward, if you like angle it up per se, because you want to catch a big target, then they have the potential to roll behind you right here and then punish you. But that's not the case if you go for holy fire and then you down smash. It will cover roll behind and ledge get up. So them increasing the attack power also means that they're previously and before patches, if you hit them with a down smash from behind, they wouldn't go very far, so you'd be in a kind of bad situation. Now you're the one at ledge and they're the one in center stage, but now since they buffed the launch distance, you should be able to hit them farther away. As you can see, that still does a significant amount of knockback. The pit wouldn't have gone nearly as far before, and you would be put in a situation that isn't the most optimal. This will also lead to better kills because down smash is now a reliable kill option. So these were all the buffs. These buffs, I think a lot of people are saying that they aren't super significant. I've been a proponent or somebody who thinks that the Belmonts have always been really good characters, even though a lot of people do have their doubts about them. I think before this they were either mid-tier. The only reason they aren't high tier is because of their recovery. But now with this recovery buff, even though it may not be significant to some people, I think these characters are now debatably bottom of high tier. I think these characters are really, really good. But for all you Belmonts players, you guys haven't gotten any buffs since the first patch. I don't think they've had any changes to Simon and Richter. But you guys are probably happy about this. What do you guys think? I'm not a Belmont player, so Belmont players in the comments, you probably know these buffs better than me. Do you guys think they're significant? What character do you guys want for the next episode? I'm debating doing Sonic or Ice Climbers or Lucario. Either one of those three. I'll get all of them done, obviously. But for the next one, I'm probably going to discuss Ice Climbers, because if you watched my Nerfs and Buffs video before the patch came out, Ice Climbers was one of the characters that I wanted them to change, and it looks like they did exactly that. So with that all out of the way, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe down below, and I will see you guys in the next video.